Good morning, friends, and welcome to Eicher Presents Moving India with Nayi Soch, a Trans India exclusive. Every trade or industry has a parent association, and often multiple associations working at different levels and engaging in various activities. They may also be called the caretakers of that particular industry. The road transport industry is typical in a lot of ways. The industry has hundreds of associations spread across the length and breadth of the country. Each association may represent a particular geography or a particular segment. In fact, we have not come across any other segment having so many associations. You can blame the diversity or sheer size of the industry for this phenomenon. Until a few years ago, the road transport industry found itself in a tight spot. The children of many transporters were not keen to join the family business and were looking at more respectable and less stressful professions, even while they were less remunerative. Given the above situation, the associations were also in a spot of bother. The older generation were not ready to make way for the next gen to manage association activities and get fresh ideas in the system. And with the youth not even joining the business, the associations are becoming stagnant in their working and thoughts. However, in the last couple of years, we have seen youth taking over the reins of their business and with the segment getting some amount of respect after branding themselves as logistic service providers, they have started making an impact. But still, many associations across the country are yet to see youngsters take active interest in association activities. With so much happening in the industry, there is a desperate need for youngsters to bring that whiff of fresh air in associations. In this scenario, we have seen the emergence of one such youth who has not only made a significant impact on his business but has made a larger impact on the associations that he represents. We are delighted to feature in Eicher Presents Moving India with Nayi Soch, Abhishek Gupta, who is currently the General Secretary of All India Transporters Welfare Association, his second term, and a committee member of Bombay Goods Transport Association. What sets Abhishek apart is his involvement in the associations. He is always ready to help members, and on many occasions, I have even seen senior members call Abhishek for guidance. So, coming up after this very short break, our interaction with Abhishek Gupta, General Secretary of All India Transporters Welfare Association. You are watching Eicher Presents Moving India with Nayi Soch, a Trans India exclusive. See you on the other side of this very short break.
How do you really define new? They say the new takes you beyond possible and makes you do what's unthinkable. Now imagine a world where trucks never have to stop, where no one has to wait when there is an emergency, and happiness always arrives on time. In a hurried world, no one worries about kids getting to school safely. Fathers always come home with a surprise. Mothers sleep peacefully when their son is out on the road 24/7. In a digitally connected world, the real connections are never lost. Friendships are never left behind when work gets tougher. The wheels are kept moving by dedicated professionals. And ultimately, it's not just technology, but people who save the planet. The new thinking not only makes our business grow, but also gives us newer ways to celebrate life. Eicher, Nayi Soch, Naye Raste.
Welcome back to Eicher Presents Moving India with Nayi Soch, a Trans India exclusive. We have with us Abhishek Gupta, General Secretary of All India Transporters Welfare Association. Abhishek, what we have been seeing for a while now is youngsters were hesitant to come in the transport business. While you came into the business, you have also involved yourself in transport associations. What prompted you to get into a space where youngsters were not there at all in a way?
So I think, Girish, it all started way back in 2000s. I think is when Mr. Ashok Shah had started the Wake Committee.
Right.
That's when a lot of the youngsters had started going for association events, because they were very, very informative, and the thing was called itself Wake, which was Website and Knowledge Enhancement. Website, of course, that time was the talk of the need of the hour that time. So, but knowledge enhancement was very, very interesting. We used to have a lot of sessions with guest speakers who would come in.
Right.
And I think there was also a course that was done at Symbiosis for 3 days. So, that really engaged the youngsters. And that's, I think, where we started getting involved with BGT in a very, very small way.
Mm-hmm. But did you have any plans to, at that time, that you would someday make it go so far ahead in associations?
Never. I don't ever have any such, never such any thought that I would really be playing a part of the association. But I think it's just, you just go with the flow. Once you become a part of it, you give your ideas, you try to someone invites you to come over for, one of the meetings, and that's how it gets started.
Abhishek, do you think associations are effective?
So association itself, if you say it, they definitely can be effective. Mm-hmm. Whether they are effective depends on how it's being run and what probably the plans or the goals or the agenda is. But definitely I think associations can be effective.
You've been in BGTA, you've been in AITWA. How has your experience been so far?
So I think from my point of view, whatever activity that we've tried to do, we've been able to see some change, bring about some improvement in the industry, bring about some benefits to the members, put across our requirements or our need for the industry to the right authorities or the right decision makers from time to time. And that's really been a very, very helpful thing for the industry.
Tell me, ideally, what should be the role of an association?
In AITWA, we've been sort of deliberating for 2025 what should be our sort of roadmap for the coming 2 years at AITWA. And I think what I was trying to coin down 2-3 things, so maybe I can just tell you what those things are. One is that engagement is very important.
Absolutely.
So engaging with members, engaging with all stakeholders, engaging with government for policy makers, with enforcement. That's something which is very important. What the association should and can do. Second is to educate about what's happening. There's a constant change in law, constant change in the requirement, the dynamics of the industry. So keep educating people about that, like how we had knowledge session back in the day.
Right.
Of course, that time it was very different knowledge session. This time
it's different,
maybe lots more, right? So like recently we had a session where we spoke about EVs, on what are the critical issues that are there to make EVs a success.
Right.
We are all grappling with the issue in Delhi of non-allowing of BS3, BS4 trucks. All members are facing this challenge. So over a period of time, other states should not adopt it. So probably there is a need for shifting to better fuel, other fuels. So that's something we need to educate people about that. The third was empower. So the associations can empower members. Today when we talk about policy changes, when we talk about tools, technology, these things, they are there in the market. They are some are using them, all aren't using them. So as an association, if we're able to identify such good things which help the industry and then empower the members with that. So I think from the AITWA point of view, these are the 3 things which we want to probably do in the next couple of years in a regular way. To interact, to empower, to engage, do all these things in a correct manner so that members and stakeholders benefit. Like drivers, for example, right? So today at AITWA Highway Heroes, we are constantly doing something for the drivers. So, and in these three elements, we would want to also do things for drivers as well. So see how we can educate them, how we can. So there is, of course, a dire need of drivers. It's an ongoing subject which we discuss. But how do they make sure that their deliverables are better? How do they make sure that the expectation of the fleet owner is what he's making up to now, especially with BS6 or with CNG vehicles where pilferage is low, other ways of revenue for a driver is less. So how does he overcome those challenges and focus on driving better? There's only tools that are monitoring drivers today.
Absolutely.
Harsh driving, harsh braking, sleepy, ADAS, so much of stuff happening around the driver. So I'm sure when the driver gets intimidated with so many things monitoring him, so educate him why this is necessary or how it's helping him and how he needs to be around these tools rather than to treat them as something that is monitoring him, to look at it as if it's going to help him in his driving. So those kind of education was required.
We will continue our interaction with Abhishek after this very short break. You are watching Eicher Presents Moving India with Nayi Soch, a Trans India exclusive.
कहने को लाइफ में सब कुछ है, फिर भी सपने खेल रहे हैं आंख मिचोली। अमित की लाइफ है कि पिकअप ही नहीं कर रही। दोस्त हैं, महफिलें हैं, पर रिश्तों में वो जिंदा दिली नहीं। अमित की लाइफ है कि पिकअप ही नहीं कर रही। फिर एक दोस्त ने बताई तरकीब जो थी एकदम सही। पिकअप शिकअप की चिंता छोड़, बना ले लाइफ स्मार्ट अपनी। ले आ स्मार्ट सिटी ट्रक, बदल दे लाइफ अपनी। यह है आयशर प्रो 2049 स्मार्ट सिटी ट्रक। जब कमाई करेगी पिकअप, तभी लाइफ करेगी पिकअप। यही है नई सोच, नए रास्ते। आयशर प्रो 2049, लाइफ बदल दे।
मेरी तो बदल दी।
Welcome back to Eicher Presents Moving India with Nayi Soch, a Trans India exclusive. We are in conversation with the General Secretary of All India Transporters Welfare Association, Abhishek Gupta. So do you also see now more youngsters coming into associations? Because back in the days, the committee used to be all of, senior guys. But of late, I've been seeing there is an influx of youth in select associations. I wouldn't say all of them. Is that helping the industry in a way?
So influx of youth, definitely at least at BGTA level, somewhat at AITWA level, and AITWA level also, yes. We are seeing an influx of youngsters who are getting more involved, who are wanting to probably give back to the industry through the association, and it definitely does change a lot of the working style of the association. There's a lot more energy, there's a lot more productive and proactive activities rather than just the typical association meetings. So yeah, that's something that is definitely happening.
Abhishek, we have seen that the road transport industry has probably 1,000 associations or more. Do you think that somewhere is a deterrent of sorts? I mean, the government also gets confused, which association should we listen to, which one is a serious one, which is there just as a letter pad, if we may call it. How does that help?
So in such a large country, you can't change that scenario of so many associations. They are definitely going to exist. It's just that what do they do? So in fact, it's probably better that you have a larger number of associations in every region. But the only thing is that the goal should be common. Which
align their thoughts.
That is the most important. The alignment with the central or the national bodies need to be aligned. They need to work in tandem with them. They need to. So in fact, again in the next 2 years that we were listing out, we also listed this out that what do the different zones need to do.
Okay.
And they need to try to sort of engage, do the same 3 things which is at the top to try and do that at their level, so that the similar activity is happening everywhere, and it sort of percolates down to the end users everywhere, not just that it's happening in pockets of places. So I think with so many associations, if there is a roadmap that can be set for the next 2 years, which is in alignment with the apex bodies, that will really help.
Abhishek, you've spent a lot of time in associations. You've given back a lot to associations. You've worked hard for members. Do you think that time and effort has been well spent?
Definitely, I think there has
No
been
regrets?
some. No, not at all. Not at all. No regrets. And I think I've been able to do certain things over the last couple of years which have been somewhat helpful to the industry, and I think that it's definitely well spent.
Finally, Abhishek, any message for the youngsters to get them on board to associations in whichever place they are, whichever city, whichever state?
So I think it's it's not an easy thing to enter an association environment, because it's definitely giving time, like you said. You have to carve out that time from your first your business, then maybe your family, to be able to spend time. So that's something which one needs to first be ready to do. And once they do that, when they spend that time, they definitely should expect that they are going to make a change. That should be the first and foremost goal, that yes, I will try and make a change for the better. And
Right.
if that's what every youngster tries to do when they join the association, rather than just joining an
Filling up a
association
seat
for the
maybe.
sake of it,
Yes.
and not contributing. Today, even if you contribute that 1% across each person
Can make a
across the
change.
country, it can
Yes.
make a huge change. So it's that power of 1% which everybody can try and contribute, and just just do that little bit extra for the industry, rather, not the association, the industry, and that can make the change.
Since you spoke about time, tell me, what is the reaction of your family members when you give so much of time first to your business and then the little leftover time to the association? How?
So that's always an argument or a topic of discussion, because it does take up time, and it does take up
especially
family
when you're
time.
committed to a task.
Absolutely. I think during COVID we had quite a session, where we used to be involved with so many activities happening on the ground, feeding people, drivers, water, this, that. So I think while COVID, people were doing health awareness and this for their own selves, at home. But bunch of us in AITWA were actively involved. AITWA, BGTA, bunch of associations
Right.
were actively involved helping drivers, and we were literally on the phone or the computer throughout the day. And that's the time when your family was so close to you, and they were like, the whole world is doing this, that, and
You're
you're
not
busy with this. So, yeah, but that's the fun of it also, that you're able to do things, and you are able to help so many people out there.
You feel satisfied at the end of the day
100%.
that you've given back to the industry.
100%.
Thank you, Abhishek. It is really heartening to see the involvement, commitment, and dedication of Abhishek. I have personally been a huge fan of Abhishek for his contribution to the industry, and more importantly, willingness to help anyone and everyone. We hope more youngsters join associations and bring the much needed change in the system. We will be back again next week with yet another interesting conversation. You have been watching Eicher Presents Moving India with Nayi Soch. a Trans India exclusive. Until next week, stay safe and drive safe. Jai Hind.